Far beyond the hills, in a vast green wilderness where tall pines whispered in the wind, lived a wolf named Kaylor. For many seasons, Kaylor had been known as the most skilled hunter in the entire forest. He was fast, sharp, fearless. When deer heard the rhythm of his paws on the forest floor, they ran instantly because they knew one thing: Kaylor never missed. His strength came from years of patience, discipline, and relentless effort. But sometimes, even the strongest creatures forget an important truth. Power fades when it stops being used. One evening, after a long and exhausting chase, Kaylor finally brought down a large stag. With his belly full, he lay beneath an enormous cedar tree while the golden sunset spilled across the forest. For the first time in many years, he felt something unusual. Not hunger, not exhaustion, but comfort. As he stared at the quiet sky, a dangerous thought slowly crept into his mind. Why must I hunt every single day? Why run for miles when life could be easier? The next morning, instead of venturing deeper into the forest, Kaylor wandered closer to the edge of a nearby village. There, he noticed something he had never cared about before. Behind the houses, villagers often threw away leftover food at the end of the day: bones with scraps of meat, old pieces of bread, discarded meals no one wanted. It wasn't noble prey, but it was easy. And that day, Kaylor made a decision that would slowly change everything. He stopped hunting. At first, it felt like freedom. No more exhausting chases, no more risk of injury. Each evening, he simply waited in the shadows near the village, and food appeared. Life became comfortable. Days became slower. Then weeks passed, and Kaylor did not realize that something inside him was quietly changing. His powerful legs began to weaken. His sharp instincts faded. The fire that once burned in his eyes slowly dimmed. Comfort wrapped around him like a warm blanket, soft, pleasant, and dangerously tight. Then one season, heavy storms arrived. Rain flooded the village roads. The villagers stopped throwing scraps outside. Days passed, then more days. No food appeared. Hunger began to claw at Kaylor's stomach, and for the first time in many months, he returned to the forest to hunt. But something terrible happened. When he chased a deer, his legs could not keep up. His breath burned in his chest. The deer escaped easily. He tried again the next day, and again, and again. Every failure reminded him of something painful. He had lost the strength he once relied on. That was when Kaylor finally understood the truth. Strength does not vanish all at once. It disappears slowly when we stop using it. Comfort had stolen his power piece by piece without him even noticing. Winter was approaching, and survival meant only one thing: change. Kaylor made a difficult promise to himself. He would rebuild his strength no matter how long it took. Every morning, he forced himself to run a little farther. Every evening, he sharpened his senses again. The process was slow, painful. There were many days he wanted to quit, but hunger and regret pushed him forward. Week after week, his muscles grew stronger. His speed slowly returned, and the old fire began to awaken in his eyes again. Then one cold morning, after months of effort, Kaylor finally succeeded. With the final burst of strength, he brought down a deer. Standing there in the silent forest, breathing heavily, he realized something he would never forget. The easy path had almost destroyed him. From that day forward, Kaylor never chose comfort over effort again, because he understood a truth that many forget. True strength is not just about becoming powerful, it is about staying powerful, and that requires effort every single day. Moral of the story? Comfort may feel safe, but growth only happens through challenge. The moment we stop pushing ourselves, we slowly begin to lose the very things that once made us strong.